Thank you to all of you. This is not an easy commitment to make for this amount of time across a year. Some of you are your own bosses, and so please pat yourself on the back for figuring out a way to allow yourself to make that commitment. So many of you had to have an employer or an organization decide that they could make that commitment alongside you and support you to do this. So I'm just grateful that you made this investment in your leadership, and that in most cases, your organization or your employer supported you in doing that. And especially it gives me a chance to show up to thank Jan Kierce and Julie Bean and all the other MDFers who might have helped out in ways various and sundry throughout this year. As I come in, it's no surprise to hear Jan just being amazingly eloquent about this process and about our goals for it. And whether she's channeling herself or channeling you, she's obviously an incredible leader and voice for this program for the state. And so thank you, Jan. Thank you, Julie. The last time I got to pop in and see the class, we were just breaking up from this room with a lot of the Maine legislature while you were in the carriage house. And, Jan or you all asked me, well, how'd it go in there? And it went really well. And hopefully you've heard from Jan and Julie that, the following month, it went even better as we were able to get almost 70 of them across on 2 buses across rural Maine, and, sort of see them model building relationships and expressing curiosity, and, really trying to understand and listen. We were at the Down East Applied Marine Research Institute in Beals, Maine, and I always forget, like when we get down there and we turn off of the paved road onto this pretty hard scrabble dirt road on an island on the coast of Maine, and you're like, where is this place? And the road, almost narrows to a single track. But when we get there, and they've got an amazing shellfish research center there with just amazing, homegrown talent doing all kinds of things. But they have a touch tank in there. So, nothing like a group of grown-ups with a touch tank, whether you're a legislator or any one of us. And so it was great to see them, sort of literally let their hair down with the starfish and the other sea creatures. And then later that evening to see the Speaker of the House, Rachel Talbot Ross, and the Minority Leader, Billy Bob Falkingham, sharing a podium like this. But really more so sharing like a humanity, a friendship, a relationship. Now watching them and knowing how severe their policy disagreements might be, and just, hoping that that core of humanity and authenticity and relationship at least helps them, keep those disagreements in the right context and still occasionally find common ground where there's common ground to be found. So doing that leadership program is a wonderful, additional extension of the kind of experiences we have with you. The other thank you I want to make is not only to the sponsors who have made today possible and make our whole year possible, and a special thanks to the Economic Development Administration with the guidance of our Communities Committee from 4 Maine, and now supplemented by support from the Avangrid Foundation to enable us to reach out and include a lot of folks from our rural forestry communities in this program. It was about half the class last year. As you know, it's about a third of the class this year. And as we were dealing with the challenges of our forestry communities, it didn't take long to say the challenge is like the STP, the same 10 people trying to take on the leadership mantle in a community, but also never having faced a challenge of that magnitude before, or a transformation of a community of that degree before. And, we're just fortunate that our advisors and collaborators in that project saw that need as greatly as we might have. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful kind of enhancement and extension of the philosophy and goal of an impact of ICL these last couple of years. And we hope for a number of years to come. we've been working in recent months quite a bit with the J community, whose mill closed last month. And when we were down there in January, with a couple of the most prominent community leaders, they said, "What are we if we're not a mill town? What are we if we're not a mill town?" And that just really strikes home. And I've known this certainly from watching other communities go through this journey over the last 7 or 8 years of like just that searing dislocation, economic dislocation, psychological dislocation, cultural and social dislocation of like, it's your identity. It's your identity. It's not just your job or your livelihoods. And I thought about that, but I think the answer is like, the same things that would have made you great if you had stayed a mill town are what will still be great, whether the mill is in physical operation or not, right? A community that believes in making things, a community that believes in hard work, a community that believes in creativity, a community that believes in supporting each other and your families through crisis and through challenge. That remains whether a mill is in operation each day or not. But that is a hard thing to get to the other side of. I was talking with some folks last night about our Katahdin, you're right, and you all have seen the story. And I think my last meeting when I left my job in banking was with our Katahdin, and my first meeting when I got to MDF was with our Katahdin. So I'm like, yes, we do work with them. But as you know, that sense of like, even though we don't live here year round, this is still our home. Our parents were here, our grandparents were here, and this desire to make the place that we most identify with something that can be vibrant and special again. And again, they tell the story so much better than I. But saying, "Hey, what was the centerpiece for us? It was that bandstand that used to be the epicenter of holiday celebrations when we were kids. Let's throw some lights and paint on that thing and get a band down there and show the community that we can hope again that this place can be a real community." And then 30 projects later, they wound up owning a 1,400 acre mill site for $1. And they've been on that journey ever since in so many amazing ways. So you've seen those inspirations firsthand, but I think at bottom, ICL is about how can we help any community sustain and recreate and reimagine that spark of true grassroots, people-driven leadership. So like I said, mostly I'm here to say thank you. Thank you to you. Congratulations to you. Thank you to Jan and Julie for another amazing year. And I'm just so happy for our state that you all are going to be out there, making trouble in really good ways for many, many years to come. Thank you for that.